Hey guys, this is craphunter, and welcome back to World of Tanks. Woo! Now today we're gonna have a slightly different video. Today's gonna be more replay based. Basically, what happened was during one platoon session with Lord Rexasaur and Bidden War, we were able to have two really good games in a tier 9 in the same session. So what I thought of doing was I thought I'd make a like a little quick video, just to sort of show what happens in these videos. So, let's get started. So, we're on cliffs, and we're the top tiering tanks. Bidden is in his Object 704, Lord Rexasaur is in his E75, I'm in my E75. Rexasaur is driving the, I think it's quite, I think he's got a stock version of the E75, because he has the top turret, which is good, but he doesn't have the top gun or the top engine. So he's still having to grind those out. So at this point we're sort of trying to make our minds up as to whether we should go into the center of the map along here or to push around this perimeter. So as we're marching up towards the enemy, as we're marching up towards the hill, we take the piss out of the fact that our tanks are slower. Enemy A44 decides to come up and say hi. I try and get a shot in towards them, and unfortunately, because the A44 is a low little bugger, I miss, always. M46 Patton decides to come up and say hi, but then quickly scarpers off after the other tanks start engaging him. I'm sort of starting to move towards the middle part, when all of a sudden Bidden said, "Hey, Craphunter, come on, this way, come on, keep going middle, let's go around the corner." So, I decide to follow Bidden because reasonably good policies to stick close to your teammates. Unfortunately, I get spotted, but luckily do not receive any fire. Rexasaur still thinks we're going into the middle, so he starts following the VK. And by this point, Bidden is like, "Yo, Rex, where are you going? We're going to that corner. Where the hell are you going?" We're all sort of having a little go at him for it. Oh, Rex, what do you like? So anyway, he finally decides to come along, which is when we bump into the enemy top tiers. Now, this ISA, I have no idea what was going through his head, because he could have done something reasonably well. I get a high damage roll, and he decides to YOLO. So, I'm sort of reloading, trying to get it in fast. Rexasaur gets a nice damage roll into it. I try and get in for the kill, and Bidden steals the kill. Thanks, Bidden. So anyway, we bump into the other enemy, the other top tiers, the two M103s. I throw a shot in, and for some reason that does not penetrate, which is kind of annoying. And so now starts probably a lengthy sort of skirmishing slash, scraping process. Bidden in his Object 704 goes in, takes a lucky ricochet to his gun mantlet. I make a mistake and expose too much of my tracks, doing a little bit of damage, and unfortunately I ricochet. And Bidden comes in, now he's fully reloaded, comes along to try and throw another shell in the enemy's direction. Rexasaur finally shows up with his attack. Does a nice damage roll, but because he's only got the Koenigstiger's top gun, he can't do that much damage. So, but that said, though, he's doing a fair amount of damage to the enemy team. So I'm trying to come in, trying to sneak in for a shot, and by this point we're starting to sort of scrape too much. We're like, hey, stop bumping into each other. And unfortunately, I don't realise it, but I'm kind of blocking. Not sure if it was this bit, but so Object 704 comes in. It's later on. So Object comes in, does a nice damage roll. I try and come in to get a shot in for them. Comes in again. Rexasaur does another shot into him, and it's just a still skirmishing process. I knock the track out of the M103. Rexasaur takes a nasty hit, but somehow doesn't get damaged. I'm moving up. I make a mistake, and I kind of block. I unfortunately block Bidden, which unfortunately then he gets his track knocked out, and then I start using it for cover. And then he takes another damaging hit. By this point, he fixes his treads and throws in. I'm still ricocheting, and I'm like, for God's sake, gun, work! And it's getting really frustrating. Rexasaur takes two nasty hits, and I was just going to pause you there because basically what's about to happen is something which we should have probably paid a bit more attention to beforehand. If you haven't, it's understandable. Notice the minimap and the lack of green tanks. That's because most of our team has completely collapsed and have all been killed around this perimeter. We have a few survivors, though. We've got artillery, who's done some kind of damage. We've also got an SU-122-44 and a Waffenträger Auf Panzer IV. These are the only few survivors, and they weren't exactly helpful in this game. The enemy team are now also trying to send flankers in to try and take us out whilst we're engaging the M103s. So by this point, at this point, Bidden says, right, I can handle this, I can ricochet the shells, you guys deal with the two enemy flankers. So Rexosaur's taking damage. I finally get a shot into the back of the M103, so I'm satisfied now. So Bidden now can go for those guys unopposed. I now start to support Rexosaur as we come into it. I throw a shot in. I don't do any damage, which is really frustrating because I thought I could have done something, but I guess not. So at this point, we're still sort of skirmishing and scrapping. Rexosaur does a nice damaging roll. I aim for the cupola of the enemy tank, but an T-54 comes along and says hi, so we might as well start engaging him. Rexosaur does another nice damaging roll. The enemy A-44 decides to show up, but I think, as I'm about to reload, I don't get a shot on him, so I try and sort of trying to find what target. It's like, which one do I go for? A-44? The Panther II decides to go for it. I then throw in a low shot to knock out the VK. Bidden has taken care of the enemy M103, so he decides to throw a nice high damage roll against that Panther II. I move in to move in to cover him from the shot from the T-54, but luckily he bounces. And now we start pushing up into the enemy tanks. I throw in a shot, low damage roll on my gun, which is a bit annoying, but I guess that's how it is. The Panther II is withdrawing. I move in to try and take the shots and force them to try and shoot at me. I aim for the enemy tank. I get a nice high damage roll on that one. Rexosaur gets the kill for the Panther II, and now it's just the three of us, so we're completely on our own. And I'm moving in to try and knock out the T-54. I aim, and I ricochet. God damn it. So Rexosaur finishes off the enemy tanks, and at this point we're like, holy shit, we're on our own and it's going good. Oh! Enemy artillery tries to knock out Bidden, but luckily it's either a low damage roll or the worst kind of damage roll. So now I'm the highest health tank ever. I see the enemy tank pattern, but Rexosaur gets a nice kill, and that sorts that out. So the enemy are now trying to cap us after failing to kill us. I spot the A-44. I really need to focus. I really don't need to miss this shot, and bang! Yes! Finally, I get some decent shots into him. There's the Indian Panzer, so I'm like, right, guys, focus on the Indian Panzer. I shot the A-44. Focus on the Indian Panzer. Oh God, artillery's going for me. And both Rexosaur and Bidden knock out the enemy tanks. There's the Lover, which is now coming up, being really stupid about it because he does, you know, you should be a lot more cautious. He decides, I think he's just YOLO'd it. He knew that his team were failing, so bang, he's gone, and we're all hyper cautious now because don't forget, if I get one more kill, we get a brothers in arms. Artillery tries to go for me, and he does a fair amount of nasty damage. That was quite frustrating, actually, but I was happy that it was going for me rather than Object or E75. So now we're trying to do a little bit of cleanup. So Rexosaur he moves up towards A1 to try and see if the enemy A-44 is still there. And Bidden is trying to move down south towards the donut point here to try and see if he can spot if the A-44 is still there. And I'm working with Rexosaur on this one because we think, we might want to have to take care of it. But then all of a sudden I realise, actually, maybe I should go over down that point because I've got more health. So I scramble onto the mic saying, Bidden, don't go forward. You've got low health, mate. If there is artillery, he's going to probably be pre-aimed. I'll take the hit and I can knock him out. So Bidden goes, yeah, fair point. So Rexosaur goes up to A1, clears out the sector. There is no bad guys. So Bidden's like, right, the bastard probably is around here. So we'll move up, you know. And he's like, oh crap, you go take care of the artillery. Get yourself get us a brothers in arms. So I start to move up towards where the enemy base is. Rexosaur starts to move up over towards that midsection there. There is the A44. He does get up to be spotted. Bidden is trying to find his way up towards, trying to find that pathway which gets you up towards that point there. And now I'm starting to run towards the enemy base. Hopefully I'm not going to be spotted beforehand. I try and use the rocks as cover as I march my way up, taking care to avoid the trees, so that way the artillery doesn't have any clue as to how I'm going to get there. I do end up being spotted, and I'm like, oh shit, where is he? Where is he? Tense moments coming in, and it's like, oh Jesus Christ, where the hell are you, Artie? So I'm sort of trying to search around, going around the wrecks and destruction of the other tanks. And I'm like, right, where is he? Where is he? Bidden says, right, he's either in there or there. Oh, sorry, Rexosaur says he's either there or there. I'm just trying to keep weaving left and right. Now, this is probably a very dangerous bit, because if he caught me on the wrong point, I could potentially die here. So where is he? Where is he? Ah, there he is. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Better move. Oh, try and get shot in. Ah, my God! Bang! He does artillery damage, and I don't have a track. I can't repair my track, so it's a desperate... Oh, God! Let me finish it. No low damage roll. Oh, my God, that was close. The enemy A44 just misses me. Just misses me. And it just... moments of sheer terror in my eyes as that happens. So as I try and aim, I can't get a shot on them. I'm like, someone take him out before we die. We're all really low on health. Rexosaur gets the kill, and so ends a freaking tense carry. And we were just, a few seconds afterwards, we just couldn't believe our luck. I mean, to survive all of that, with Bidden being on 1%, myself being on like maybe 2 or 3%, and Rexosaur just, you know, it was just ridiculous how we saved that game, and it was such good fun. The teamwork we had there was brilliant, and I thoroughly enjoyed that game. But also, this isn't the end. There is another game that we had which had the same kind of circumstances. So, I'll see you there. And we're back, and this time we're on a different style of map, but once again we are top tier. We're in the Arctic Circle map, or the Mannerheim line for some reason when you look in the replays. As I said, we're top tier, and we're facing against a team of lots of tank destroyers and a couple of them in a platoon. Oh crap. On this one we decide to head down towards the F9 corner, and a few of our team players are starting to sort of show signs of dissidence. We're saying, "Oh, idiots, where are you going?" sort of stuff. So we just kind of fly with trolls like blocks. Enemy leopard tank decides to come into a scout. So I'm like, aim, bang! Lucky ammunition rack. And the enemy RT-34 decides to call us lemmings, despite trying to sort of acting like, oh god. So I reply saying, yay, I'm a lemming. Try and make him shut up a little bit. So right now what we're trying to do is we're trying to sort of probe the enemy lines a little, try and see if we can get them to come around the corner, because that way then all of our tank destroyers can then knock out as many of them as possible. Now our scout does actually a decent job in finding the IS-8, the enemy IS-8, and now it's just more of a waiting game, trying to see what we can do. So our AMX-12T on the map tries to move down to try and see if he can spot any more targets. Bidden tries to move up to see if he has a shot. We're evidently aware of the fact that the enemy team has 2 Object 704s, and we know they're going to be camping around at some point. So the Rumetal Borsig decides to highlight the fact that where the scout should be, but by that point it's a little too late. We bump into the tanks. I shoot at a T-25 AT, and for some reason I ricochet. Lucky bastard. Bidden gets a good shot into the side of an Object 704. The enemy tanks will disappear, unfortunately. And if you look at chat, it's brilliant. But focusing on this one now. So sort of the RTD is having a go at the AMX-12T for not doing his job, or whatever. So now we're still sort of probing the enemy tank lines. We're just trying to sort of get a shot into someone. The AMX-1375, not really sure why he did that. I have a lucky ricochet from from the enemy Object 704. But if you can notice up at the top half of the map, the enemies have completely taken over, and that's what I notice on the middle, that's when I notice on the top half that the enemy tanks have just completely overwhelmed our defences. Enemy S51 shouts help, but doesn't seem to move a little bit. Oh no, he actually does move. My mistake. It was the DW Panther, that Tiger that was there. Yeah, so the enemy, so our artillery starts doing the blame game, and the you know, bloody Römertal Borsig decides to blame it. For some reason, their artillery decided to destroy their T-25AT. I'm not sure why, but whatever. So artillery tries to have a go at the enemy tanks. I throw in a shot. Unfortunately, it does nothing. And now comes a sort of challenging endeavor because I've got 3 enemy light medium tanks. I am getting support from the Römertal Borsig and Jagdpanzer 2. The enemy Type 59 decides to use gold ammunition despite being able to pen me. But I'm luckily able to ricochet. I'm sort of moving in a bad position here. I'm completely oblivious at this point where their IS-3 is. Then the Type 59 finally hits me, and then I receive a nasty hit from the IS-3. So I'm trying to. Then I just think, shit, right, I've got to move into cover. So I take another lucky ricochet from Mr. Goldman. I throw in a nice damage roll against the Type 59, and now I'm sort of trying to move around, trying to sort of scuffle, just trying to do what I can to make utilize the most of my E-75's angling armor. So I throw in a shot, I kill Captain Gold Scarlet, and now I bump into the Panther 2, evidently trying to sort of do what I can to show less of my rear side to the IS-3. So I throw in, he gets a lucky ricochet, and I'm sort of just now trying to weave in and out, sort of trying to go between targets. I look at the T-71, trying to make sure he isn't trying to flank me. I think I can get a shot. Enemy Panther 2 is trying to get me. I look back at him. I have a lucky ricochet, looking at him, trying to just sort of choosing the targets. I throw in a shot. I have a nice high damage roll against his cupola. By this point, Rexasaur and both Rexasaur and Bidden are holding off the line. I'm still taking on. I take another hit from the IS-3, and I move in for the kill against that Panther tank. Well played, Panther tank. Not that much he could have done, but he well played nonetheless. So at this point, I knock out the enemy Panther, and now I'm starting to focus on that T-71. Now the problem with the T-71, it's a little target, and it's so freaking annoying to get. Trying to sort of weave in and out, trying to get the little bastard, but then Bidden moves up to help me out against the tank. I get a nice shot into him. I knock out the enemy T-71. So I tell Bidden to go quickly back down to support Rexasaur, because Rexasaur is now starting to become overwhelmed. The enemy IS-8 starts YOLOing against him. Bidden throws in a nice high damage roll. Unfortunately, you don't get to see much. I'm focused, and then I spot the enemy IS-3. Yes, I'm trying to see if I can get a shot in on him, but unfortunately, sadly, I don't get the shot. I'm focusing a lot on there, but then, don't forget, we've got bad guys down below, and I'm sort of trying to think, oh, what do I do? What do I do? Because I didn't want to get shot in the back by the IS-3, but our team was being slowly and gradually overwhelmed, so I thought, no, I've got to go back and help out. So, whilst I'm on my way back, I focused my turret on the E-75, IS-3's last location to ensure that I don't get killed. Now, if you haven't been paying attention to chat, basically the enemy team have, I'm just going to say, the enemy team have just killed off their own IS-8. Brilliant. So the enemy team has now two team killers. Brilliant. If you haven't been noticing in chat as well, basically our team have been playing the blame game, even though we're doing what we can to defend against this thing. So there's the enemy Object 704, and now it's a very tense game because it could go any way, and we could so easily lose. And that Object 704 is such an important target, really desperate. But luckily, the Jagdpanzer 2 takes care of him. I try and throw in a shot against him. For some reason, that shot didn't go anywhere. I have no idea where that shot went. Really frustrating. So now I sort of move up to sort of take more of the flak because I have a little bit more health than others, if I'm not mistaken. No, I haven't actually, Rexasaur more. But then Bidden then spots 2 enemy heavy tanks trying to push up, trying to go into it. And then he's like, yo, craphunter, you go up to the top and take care of those tanks. You've got the better gun. And, we need supporting. So now we're sort of doing a desperate defense effort to try and sort of save this game, because the enemy are pretty much encroaching, closing in on towards us, and it's just getting so tense. So tense. I try and throw in a shot at the East IS-3, but unfortunately the shot goes low. The enemy, our Jagdpanzer 2, decides to come up to try and support us. Bidden takes 2 nasty hits to the side. I'm trying to decide targets. Now I should have gone for the T-34 and not for this shot here, because that was a mistake on my part, because I should have realised that wouldn't have penetrated. I take a nasty damaging roll at the T-34, and so I'm like, right, sod it, you're going to die, T-34. So I take a shot, bang, and I hit them, but the Jagdpanzer 2 kills him. So now I'm focusing on the IS-3, who is the last of their bigger heavy tank, who is the last of the tanks on that flank. He tries to move in, I get a shot on the angle, bang, perfectly into him, killing him quite nicely. Rexosaur gets the VK-4502A, leaving 2 enemy tanks remaining. By this point, I realise I have 5 kills, and I'm like, ooh, guys, do you mind if I get that Panzersiffel? So Bidden and the other guys sort of very kindly put into chat in a second, if I'm not mistaken. Ooh, let him have the kill. Bloody Jagdpanther 2 decides to stop right in the middle of me. Thus the Panzersiffel gets the shot and kills Bidden, but luckily I have just about enough room to get the shot and get a top gun. And so now I'm on my way to try and get the thing. The enemy Gewehr Panther Tiger tries to move in. I'm almost about reloaded, and then Rexosaur steals the kill. So yeah, there you go. 2 immensely good carry games. It's a shame Bidden got killed by the Panzer Stürmil, but, you know, unfortunately the Jagdpanther 2 decided to stop as I was going down, so, you know, I couldn't take the hit or whatever, which is a bit of a shame. But I was luckily able to get a top gun after that, and that was quite a nice... It was a very good match. It was such fun to do it, and the teamwork. One of the things I will say that is the only shameful part is that because we were on TeamSpeak at the time, you couldn't record the teamwork, because whilst we were doing that, we were just talking a lot about, we were just sort of tactical teamwork sort of thing. So I was like, Rex, go down there, take the shot. I said, ah, shit, you know, ricocheted. And we're like, okay, bad guys to our left. You know, just the amount of teamwork we had between all of us was absolutely fantastic. And that's one of the reasons why I love World of Tanks on days like this. It's just a shame that these days are so few and far between. Oh... Anyway, so yeah, thank you very much for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed the content. If you like this kind of... Oh, he drowned. Okay. Thank you very much for watching. If you like this kind of content, feel free to let me know by clicking on the like button and or subscribing to the channel. Obviously, click on the comments down below if you'd like to give any feedback. And yeah, I'll catch you next time, guys. This is craphunter signing out.